Trev Alberts on his weekly or monthly radio show confirmed that he's very confident that they'll be able to have seating. He said, was it 91,000, Abby?
Yeah, 91,000.
And then the world record is 91,553 for a soccer match in Barcelona. The U.S. record is 90,185. So I think the U.S. record, they're going at it, but do you think they can figure out a way to get to 91,554?
I mean, they're trying really hard. I was a little impressed that they were adding more standing room, I guess, is where they're going to find that space, and maybe clear out some of the construction areas and find people to get in there. But they're going full send on it, and I think that they'll get pretty close. I mean, a lot of people didn't think they would sell out so quickly, but they made it to 82,000, and that didn't include the students on the field and at the box level.
And the concert, that's coming out soon, right?
They hope to announce it soon.
Yeah, and one thing Trev did say too, and he's like, he prepared people for this. Like, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't used to going to Memorial Stadium, going to this event. That be patient, because it's going to be a lot of logistics of getting this many people in the stadium. Because a football game, yeah, they say 86 or 88,000, but it's really not that many people. I mean, there's some no-shows and empty seats and people that know how to get in and out of the stadium. This could be a lot of groups of people that maybe haven't been to Memorial Stadium.
Well, it's a Wednesday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that alone makes it unique. I mean, you remember help me now, 9/11,
2001 Rice game, Nebraska. They played a 6:00 game
on a Thursday.
Nebraska was ranked #1 in the country
on a Thursday. Now school was in session.
It was. I had class that day.
Right, and it was that created a unique situation. Parking.
Players went to class that day. That played in the game.
Anyway, so the fact it's a Wednesday night and you're going to have 91,000 people there.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's kind of unique.
And the fact that that's before the concert artist has officially been announced. I mean, it's like that's strictly for volleyball and a concert to be determined. Like, it's not, you can't even make the case like, well, they're there to see the concert and watch some volleyball along the side. That makes it even more impressive for what they're trying to accomplish for the sport of volleyball.
And how much do they say again, Abby, what they're going to give each school, like for financial, payouts?
I think I could be wrong, but I thought it was 50,000. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
But just what will the final number be that comes in the gate that Nebraska makes on this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, you got to think for John Cook in Nebraska, their wheels are going to spin like, God, should we do this again? But I think they're going to also find out it's a lot of work. Sticking on that topic of stadium, a couple other interesting notes that Trev Alberts shared. You've got, well, first of all, Abby, there's going to be 400 more seats added to the Devaney Center. And there's a massive waiting list for volleyball tickets. So you're going to get 400 more people season tickets, which you're over there every game. I mean, how needed are those seats right now?
Yeah. I mean, everyone in town is clamoring to get tickets, and you can't just casually come in and find a ticket anywhere. They don't even have them available on StubHub or Ticketmaster or anything like that. Yeah, it's insane. And I'm also interested to see how they get 400 more seats.
That's what I was just going to ask you. Like, where are they going to put 400 new seats?
It's packed.
Are those upper benches? Remember the old upper bench seating in the Devaney, like the nosebleeds, you'd almost call them? Do they use those now?
Yeah, I think so. They use every seat
bench
that they can get, and they have a bunch of standing room up top too that's always full. We
bought like a 4-pack or 3-pack when I was a kid, and got this great deal. We got tickets to 4 games. They were all like upper bench seats when I was a kid. Like, we saw the
Husker games.
Yeah, the old Emeritus Classic. Remember that tournament they used to run?
What years was this?
In the mid-90s. Like,
who's the coach?
Danny Nee.
Was it Danny?
Tyronn Lue and Mikey Moore, that team.
Oh, there you go. Those are the days.
My dad took a bunch of my friends and I all went, and we sat up in those old Devaney bench seats.
Oh, that's fun.
But all right, other ticket notes. Speaking of 400 East Balcony club seats remain, and
football.
That's for football, and there's more tickets that remain. But on the club level, that's a significant number, guys, because I don't think people quite grasp the amount of financial commitment you have to make to get club seating. You're talking minimum $1,500 to maximum $2,500 per seat per year. So if you wanted to get a pair of club tickets, your donation would range from $3,000 to $5,000 plus the price of the ticket.
You listened to Trev Alberts talk on the radio on Monday night? Did he sound concerned, and was he in salesman mode?
They also rolled out these mini packages, and
where it's Louisiana Tech, Northern Illinois, and then a Big Ten game to be determined.
And I just think they've got to figure out a way to get through this year, because I do believe after this year they're going to start the project of the stadium and fix things up. And he talked about that on the show. They've got to get Memorial Stadium right for the next generation. Right now, sitting on a little 12-inch bench seat with a guy's knee up your back is not ideal.
With no chair back.
Especially when the team's not winning.
With bench seating spaces that were made for people in the 60s.
You've got a south end zone that offers no escalators at all. I mean, it's stairs or ramps. Right. I mean, just no bathrooms. The logistics of the South Stadium,
outdated.
It's third world in a lot of respects. Well, I mean, there's no elevators. There's no bathrooms. There's no concession stands. It's just bench, and you have to. I mean, if you sit in row like 92,
it's tough. You're right.
And you compare that to their peer programs. I mean, like compare that to like Minnesota's stadium, which is significantly smaller, but how much more of an enjoyable fan experience is that?
Much more.
With the concourse space, with the seating, like
think about Ireland.
Yeah. Like
we sat up in like the top areas, and I mean, those were amazing seats.
They were. My dad's 83 years old, and it's hard for him to go to games. I mean, because you got to walk up those steps. Yeah. Like if you got to walk up, if you're 83 years old and you got to walk up 40 steps, that's going to wear you down.
One of those really hot games. I mean,
and what are you going to do? Sit there for 4 hours?
Yeah.
You have to go up those steps probably multiple times. You need to go to the bathroom, and that's a hike in itself.
Do you remember Southern Miss? I think it was 2013. How hot that game was.
Yeah, people were like getting carried out on stretchers.
It was an 11 a.m. I think it was an 11 a.m. game too. Maybe 2:30.
It was brutal,
and there was no wind, and it was like 95 with just
like the on-field temp was like 100 and
it was
20.
Brutal.
I do remember that.
It was an opener because
and it was a tough game.
It was.
They had to catch it. I mean, didn't Nebraska have to score late?
I thought that was one I thought that's the game that Southern Miss gave up their game in New Orleans to play Nebraska.
You could be right.
2013 Nebraska Southern, but because that was going to be in New Orleans, and then
Nebraska won 56-13.
Yeah. Never mind.
No, I don't remember that being a close game.
They were not pressed. God only knows what game I was thinking of. But anyway,
they lost to Southern Miss.
Anyway, also Sean,
the track
matter.
Yeah, and this is notable because look where the track program's at right now. They're the Big Ten champions on the men's side. The women's are third. They're bringing in an unbelievable recruiting class with some of these football guys. Jeremiah Charles and Jalen Lloyd are, their PRs are both 50-foot and triple jump. And they've got several guys that have run on the 10-4s, 10-3s, 10-2s, and the 100 coming in. So there's going to be more interest in track at Nebraska, I think, in the coming years. But they have not been approved to add the stadium seating. So right now you've got a track with no grandstands.
Right.
Which means they can't host meets right now at Nebraska, which, it's a little disappointing. I think, like if you were a fan and you knew all these football guys were going to run out there next spring or jump, you'd maybe want to go watch. And, I'd like to know the parameters, like how much money they need to make this right. And Trev did say, he's like, we were given kind of a cheaper option and we don't want to do that. We want to make this right. And I know initially when they laid out the plans, I mean, there was some fear in Omaha that this facility could make a run to host state track. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but it was going to be a phenomenal track facility with grandstand seating and the ability to host some NCAA, maybe regionals in Lincoln.
I think some costs changed.
Construction,
construction costs escalated. And so now that's where we're at.
But it would be good for the community of Lincoln as well to have that kind of track here.
It'd be excellent.
I mean, Lincoln High right now is like the only track stadium in town, and that's where LPS runs all their stuff out of. And the old Ed Weir was pretty iconic. The way that track was right next to the football stadium,
it was iconic.
And so
it's gone,
and it's gone.
Obliterated.
I mean, it's where. And speaking of gone, the football facility is there now, and that is going to be something to watch because I just get the sense this thing's going to go all the way down to the wire as far as getting that football team in there for the start of fall camp.
That's the objective. Now Trev has made it pretty clear it'll happen, but I think you're right.
I think it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be tight.
Everything's not going to be done with
No.
that training facility, but enough for
the weight room, the locker room,
enough for the football team to be in it for the football season.
and the coaching offices may not be in there yet.
That's awkward.
The coaching offices might be in the old setup.
Now, I said that's awkward. That's my sense. I would think it would be awkward. You'd want to be where your players are. I would think if you're a coach, I would be. But anyway,
It's a massive project, though.
the Go Big project.
And with some of the supply chain issue, I mean, just to get your hands on materials. I was talking to a guy a few months ago. If you wanted to get a garage door, it was a 7-8 month wait to get a garage door sent to you. I mean, just
my God.
Now that's gone down to like 3 or 4 weeks, but that's where things were at when they were building this project. So I'm sure there's a lot of supplies that maybe got backed up that have slowed down this deal, but that will be something to watch. Like, what will that look like? And good thing Nebraska's on the road, by the way, for the first 2 weeks.
Sean, that's a lot of raccoons getting in your garage. A lot of possum, maybe even a coyote.
We have foxes in our neighborhood.
They're not have
possums.
chickens.
Oh, I talked to an animal control guy who said foxes have overtaken Lincoln. I mean, we've never seen as many foxes in Lincoln as we're seeing right now. And that's from animal control. That's not from Sipple.
I was just driving down by Costco in the middle of the street. There was a fox
Just trotting across the street.
tearing apart a dead squirrel in the middle of the street.
Well, that's
Sweet.
dark.
Kids, look away.
Yeah,
We've had foxes in our backyard. We live right over by Costco, so
we've lost cats to a coyote. We lost chickens to a fox. There's a bobcat in our neighborhood.
There's a bobcat.
There's a bobcat that's caught on one of my neighbor's camera catches it all the time coming over from Wyuka.
God bless the neighborhood Facebook page and just the people that post that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of other entertaining.
You don't want a bobcat in your backyard, trust me.
what would you do if you were confronted with a bobcat in your yard?
Well, I don't know.
They're more scared of you than you are of them, though.
Sean, I'd be careful with that mentality.
I could see you fighting the bobcat.